Hello and welcome to our show. Back to normal for England. Oh my days, that was terrible. If you're new to our channel, subscribe, drop this video a like, and get involved in the comment section down below. It was ponderous, boring, static. There was no cohesion, no pace, lethargic, second to every ball. And that was just Mason Mount. But yeah, so right, Justin, what did you make of that?
I'm pissed off. I thought it was terrible. I thought we started. Well, I started well. It was about 2 minutes in. We did all right, and then from then on, it was terrible. Absolutely awful. No idea, no clue. There was, literally night and day from the England team that played the other day. Terrible going forward. Didn't create anything. The two midfielders were very quiet. They set up to frustrate and to press, and it worked a treat. We didn't have any answers whatsoever to it, did we? It was just unfortunate. I'm surprised, but I'm not, because this is why we failed in 2 World Cups and 2 major tournaments under Southgate, because he's pretty clueless as a tactician, in my opinion. Anybody watching that first half, I would say 99% of people with an ounce of a clue about football would have said, right, it's not working. Their tactics are working, ours aren't. Let's change it. Let's put a couple of subs on. What Foden has done not to get on that pitch today, it makes me, I just cannot get my head around it. Mason Mount, awful. Raheem Sterling, terrible. I didn't think Bellingham played particularly well, but he's got masses of times, and we all know how good a player he is. I think he was just dragged down to everyone else's level. I just don't get it. I really don't. Half time should have been 2 or 3 substitutions, shake it up a bit, and he didn't. He waited till the 68th minute to put a sub on. And who was the first sub off the bench? Jordan Henderson. Just the man you need when you're struggling to break a team down.
The funny thing was, Justin, where did Henderson go as soon as he went on that football pitch?
When he was playing alongside Harry Kane, which is his natural position as a centre forward, isn't it?
So, hold on a minute. You brought on Henderson, where, okay, you'd think, all right, he's gonna sit pretty much where Bellingham was. He's gonna get on the ball. He's gonna try and up the tempo a little bit. But no, he goes and plays alongside Harry Kane. So why aren't you bringing on Foden? Like, Foden hasn't got on that football pitch tonight. And it is absolutely ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
I'd have ragged Mason Mount, and I'd have ragged Raheem Sterling off at half time, and we'd put Jack and Foden on. I'd have left. Well, yeah, I would have pushed Bellingham a bit further forward into more of an 8. I'd have left Rice in the 6 in front of the back 4 to give him a bit of extra cover, and I'd have played Foden and Bellingham, if you like, in a 4-1-4-1 formation with Jack one side and Saka the other, to give a little bit more support to Harry Kane, who's basically had nothing to. He's fed off scraps in 2 games. Harry Kane, I don't know. I'm just. As I say, I'd like to say I'm surprised, but I'm not. I think we got the wrong manager in charge of this team.
Yeah. Thank you, Dino, for the super chat. Massive support. Thank you very much. And, you're going on about, like, you were not surprised. I think I was a bit, Justin, because I felt like, tournament football, what you want to do is you want to grow into it. You want to get better and better. You want to have some momentum. We started it on... You couldn't have picked a perfect start for us to start this tournament on the front foot. We looked dynamic at times. We were pacey. We were clinical. And then tonight, the complete opposite. I can't understand that. And, you made a brilliant point about the substitutions. We were watching it together, weren't we? And at sort of 40 minutes, we were like, he's got to make a change sooner or later, because this is going one way. And the fact that he waited near enough till the 70th minute to start making his substitutions is absolutely is absolutely ridiculous. Ryan, how do you see it?
Yeah, exactly the same as you guys. We were saying when we were at half time, he's got to be proactive. He's got to make the changes now at half time. You've got 5 subs. We've got a pool of talent sitting on the bench, game changers, flipping Premier League winners, Champions League winners. They're all sitting on the bench. Utilise them. And it was clear to see USA had a game plan and they executed it perfectly. You can't take any credit away from USA today. They've played an excellent game. They stifled us. There was a threat the first half, and the goal was coming for them. The only team that looked like winning this game today was USA, and maybe we should have tried to play soccer because we certainly didn't play football. It was resorting back to the Nations League, England, wasn't it? Lacking creativity, lacking ideas, lacking identity. I don't even... You couldn't see no build-up play. You couldn't see no momentum. You couldn't see no patterns of play. It was an awful, awful performance. Nobody took any responsibility out there. Midfield was non-existent. The press was dreadful. USA could just walk out defence straight through midfield and try and play a through ball. Harry Maguire has kept us in that game today. His slabhead has been like a magnet to that football and cleared the ball. But apart from him, nobody else has had a good game. Nobody else. It's not the buzz I've had all week from that performance, for us coming out the blocks and being electric like that and being on the front foot and being exciting, scoring goals. I've been buzzing all week. Gets to Friday night, flipping loving it. And oh my God, it's so flat. It's awful. And it was an awful performance. I'm seeing the comments come through. And it is just like Gerrard Ball, and it was just like watching the Villa a couple of months ago. And it falls on Southgate for me. That performance there falls on Southgate. Yes, USA had a plan and they stifled us, but you've got to be proactive. You've got to use your brain and work out how can we get past USA's press? How can we get past their mid-block? They didn't, the press was from the front. As soon as it come into midfield on that mid-block, boom, game over. We had nothing. We had nothing. We had no one on the half turn. We had nobody picking the ball up, looking to make things happen. It was poor, man. Poor. And it's, it reeks, man. It reeks.
Yeah, it was bad. Robert, thank you for the super chat. Massive support. Yeah, and I feel like we were joking around at half time, and we were saying, right, what's he saying at half time? Go on, lads. I'll give you 15 minutes. See what you can do. And, where was the intensity of like one-touch football? Just like a little bit of tick-attacker every now and again, but it was 1 touch, 2 touch, 3 touch to Stones to Maguire, to Shaw. Oh, so boring. And I think the thing is for a lot of England fans is that once you see past the semi-final and the final and the way in which we play football, this is why so many fans dislike Southgate's style of play, because of these types of performances. We could have lost against USA because they had that many good chances. Pulisic hit the bar. Weston McKennie had that big chance. Second half, they had a few little chances as well. And really, really flat, really, really frustrating. And I think everybody in the comment section are saying exactly the same thing. So, if we have a little look at, the momentum bar as well of the game, you can see here, England on top for the start of the second half, and then down the bottom, USA pretty dominant really up until about the 70-odd minute. So, that tells the tale in itself. Average ratings for the England players: Sterling 6.5, Mount 6.7, Saka 6.5, Kane 6.4. The back line pretty decent because I think Maguire had a good game. But if we have a little look at Mason Mount tonight, passing accuracy 83%. How many times did he give the ball away? 13 times he gave the ball away. Poor that is.
Just look at his. Just scroll down a bit. Just look at his stats, which are the most important. Scroll up. Sorry, a bit more.
There's no way you should be playing in the
look at
World
that.
Cup at this level
Assists.
and giving the ball away 13 times.
Expected goals from Mason Mount 0.04. There you go.
That's generous.
It just, for me, beggars belief. He's on this pitch.
It's the fact that he stayed on for the whole 90 minutes as well, isn't it, Justin?
Yeah. We got to a final and a semi-final in spite of Gareth Southgate. I said this in both the last two manager tournaments, not because of him, and he's shown today why we won't win anything under him, because he's tactically very naive. I think that I had no problem with him starting the same 11. You cannot leave anyone out after a 6-2 win, but for whatever reason, they were flat. There were no energy to the game. They know how America are going to play. America wasn't going to come and roll over. They're very energetic. They've got a way of playing that they're set up very solidly. They're very intense, aren't they? So you got to do things slightly differently now. For me, watching that game, Southgate had no plan whatsoever to counteract what America had and how they set up. We didn't have a clue how to break them down. Against Wales the other day, they were good first half, America. Wales tried to play through them with pace, didn't work at all. And you got their manager sticks a big lump up front and went more direct second half, and they couldn't cope with it. Didn't Southgate watch that game? Did he not see what was working against him? Didn't he come up with a plan? And then when it's not working, you get to half time. It's not Sunday League football, is it? You don't just send them out again, because that's not what you do. You've got world-class talents on the bench that can change a game. So you just say to whoever's not working, Sterling, Mount, you're coming off, lads. These lads are coming on, and we're going to do it slightly differently, a bit more direct. Kane, get off the last man. If you have to go into Kane early, go into him early, because you've got 3 players there around him. You've got Phil Foden, Jack Grealish and Saka. If you get the ball into him early, hold it up, get round the box. Bellingham pushing a bit further forward as an additional sort of attacking threat. Go at it that way. There was none of that. No. There was just shite, 70 minutes. Oh, well, we'll just stick a couple of players on. Nothing changed.
And when you've seen Henderson come on in that position as well, we were laughing, weren't we? It was like the furthest man forward. Why not put Wilson on? Why not put Wilson on and have a go?
You could have gone 2 up front. We said that first half. Go 2 up front.
Yeah.
When we did our preview, and the media were going mad for James Maddison to be involved, and we said it on this channel. What was the point? Now I know he's injured, but there's no point him even being there, because if you can't even get Foden on the football pitch, what? He's never going to play. Never in a million years is Maddison going to get on this football pitch. And the one thing I'm really going to look forward to now for the Wales game is to see what team he picks. Because if Sterling and Mount are on that team sheet going into that Wales game, then I can't watch it.
We've said a few things tonight, like in jest, and it happened. Like Justin joked that what his first change will be? Probably Henderson. Next thing you know, Henderson's getting his vest off. We're like, crikey. You know what?
Rip the telly off the wall.
It wouldn't surprise me if against Wales he goes 3 at the back and just completely changes his formation.
Here's another one as well. And we had another comment here about Trent. Why couldn't Trent play today, or why couldn't Trent come on at a front 3 or something? Because the kid can pass a football to start with.
For me, Phil Foden's the one. The glaring elephant in the room is Phil Foden. Anybody that watches Premier League football and Man City, that kid is absolutely class. He's one of the best young talents in the world, not just in our country. He is phenomenal. Yet he barely gets a start for England, let alone these tournaments. He barely gets a start for England. You got Mason Mount, who's had, at best, an average season for Chelsea, and he started both the first 2 games. I cannot, for the life of me, get my head around it. I just can't. You give Phil Foden 2 starts in these 2 games, in my opinion, and the kid will run the show. He will run the show. And you're playing him in there with quality players like Jude Bellingham. You know, Saka played well in the first game. Kane just wants... He's crying out for creativity behind him. You know, a couple of times in the second half, towards the end of the second half, Kane's dropping off to try and play in the 10 role, and he's putting Saka through, I think, and then Saka's crossing it, and Kane's not in the box because he's having to drop deep to do the 10 role that fucking Mason Mount should be doing, but he's not because he's crap. He's not in good form. Why are you playing players that aren't in good form? Sterling, not in good form. Yes, he scored in the first game, but that's proven today. He's not in good form. For me, you play Grealish, you play Foden, you play Saka in behind Kane, you push Bellingham a bit further forward, you tell Rice to sit and hold the midfield together, the back four stays the same, and you just be attacking and you let the handbrake off that he can't do. It's not rocket science.
The thing is, though, Justin, what's annoyed me, it got to the last 10 minutes, didn't it? And we were sitting there watching it, and it's like it was not losing it now. Instead of letting that handbrake go and having a go, it was not lose it. We seen the Americans just bring the ball out, and I was like, "Where's our players? They're all behind the
back in our half, yeah,
and they're strolling. They are strolling. They're not, it's like they've played a whole season and they're on their last legs. It's the middle of the season. Yeah, these players should be well up for it, and it was so lethargic and so sluggish. It was awful, man.
We should not be having to manage the group. That shouldn't be a thing, but that's what it felt like. It felt like, point's a good result here now, you know. Should we just take the point and just go into the last game? And I don't know, man. Because
against the wounded Wales, yeah, Wales are wounded. They'd be after us, man.
Say if we'd have won.
Wales have got nothing to lose now.
Well, we've given them a route back in.
Nothing to lose, and now they can come for us all guns blazing. I'm not suggesting for a minute that they're going to beat us, and they shouldn't. In my opinion,
we've dangled the carrot though,
twice
Justin.
now. Yeah, I've watched just them twice, and they're not great Wales, but it's a home sort of nations game, and they've got nothing to lose. Someone just made a very good point. We made 3 substitutions tonight
out of 5.
That is in a 0-0 game when we've had 2 shots on target. We've used 3 subs.
Yeah, I saw a tweet from Balassi, which was so true. Let me try and find it.
Yannick Balassi?
Yeah, right. And this was during the game, so I'm sure he's on about England, right? I'm sure he was. This is what he's put. With the talent, you can't wait for the game to go by. Need to be on the front foot and use your weapons, which is in intensity and pace. As soon as you go cautious, you give man hope. And that's what we did.
I've been saying for 2 years.
You just said, Justin, if we play like that against Wales, what do? We give them hope. We give them belief. We give them that sense of, you know what? We can get something out of this.
Yeah.
And I don't think this squad should be playing that way. That should not be our mindset. We should have gone out positive and gone for it.
Positive, front foot, attacking, utilise all our major threats going forward. I just, please get him out of England after this tournament. I'm sorry. He's a nice bloke. He's a lovely bloke. I'm fed up of hearing people say what a lovely bloke Gareth Southgate. He's a fantastic man, human being. His heart's in the right place. All of these things, fantastic. He's not a football manager. He would not get a job in any of the top 5 leagues in Europe, in any of their top 5 teams. He just wouldn't. He will not do it. Tactically, pointless, clueless, and he's proved it again tonight. And it pains me to say it because after that first game, I was thinking, oh, okay, I might have to eat my words in this tournament because that's a different England. That's the England that we want to see because that's the potential of this team. I mean, I watched Iran today and they were very good. And I thought, crikey, that makes our result look even better against them. Yet we've just capitulated against what is essentially, no offence to any Americans listening, a very average American side. That's what it is. They're admitted before the game. They're building for the next World Cup in America because they've got I think they've got the youngest squad or one of the youngest squads in the tournament. They're building for the next World Cup. We're not. We've got an established, very, very, very good set of players that should, in my opinion, be beating America.
Well, Justin, when Southgate come in, it was to build for this tournament. This tournament was the aim.
That's what they said, didn't they? Yeah.
And we can't go from a performance up here to a performance down there. You cannot go that far in the competition without that middle ground. We can't just go from being excellent to poor just like that.
You'd want to get better and better as the games go on, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Or just maintain that consistency of performance and philosophy and style. But it's not. It was a completely different England. And yes, you do have your off days, but tournament football, you can't afford to have your off days. You know that if that was a knockout game now, right? We would go on to lose that personally. I think the goal was coming. Another half an hour, USA would have won that game, I believe.
And I'm not taking anything away from America because they had to set up to get something out of the game. They couldn't afford to lose that game tonight, so they weren't going to come all guns blazing for us. They set up really well, very solid. You know, whatever the 4-5-1, 4-4-2, whatever it was. And they were very good. They pressed really well. They used the ball really well. When they got forward, they opened us up a few times and created a couple of 3 really good half chances. They've hit the crossbar with a decent effort. Second half, they had a period of about 10 minutes when there was corner after corner after corner, and we were sitting there thinking they're going to score in a minute.
It's coming.
So it was up to us to make things happen, and we didn't.
The thing is,
cannot put my finger on it. Why?
In the preview, for me, looking at them from the Wales game, their strongest points, the strongest areas was the midfield 3 and the 2 wing backs, and we just let them play to their strengths. I think the back 2 could have been got at. I think they're quite they're units.
Them 2 centre halves were poor.
Yeah. That was their weakest point, and we never attacked it. We just let them play to their strengths, and do you know, it's shocking, really. There's no plan going into that game, was there? There's no tactical plan on how to bypass that midfield, how to get in on the front 2. Nothing at all.
I would say when I'm watching Kane at the minute, and I'd probably say in the first game, because I don't think Kane had that much service in the first game. I would say when I'm watching Kane for England, he's too busy doing somebody else's job. And not what he, he should be occupying centre halves. He should be, making runs us, but he don't do it, does he? Because he's
I think the problem with Kane is when he plays, the way he plays for Spurs is he does play a lot of the time in the 10 because he's got players like Son that basically would, once he drops deep, Son just picks up that spot, the number 9 spot, and he becomes the centre forward, and then Kane can dictate a bit deeper, can't he? But for England, in the formation we're playing, when he drops a little bit deep to try and, there's nobody up top to get into that area that he's vacated to try and create things. That's the problem for him. It's very. I know I still expect us to qualify. I still expect us to beat Wales, and looking at the group we're going to potentially play in the round of 16, I expect us to get through that as well, because I don't see anything there that worry us. And so that means we're in a quarter-final. Does that mean Southgate's a good manager? No, it doesn't. Just like it didn't mean he was a good manager because we got in a final and a semi-final. We will get further in the tournament in spite of him, not because of him. And the minute we come up against a really good, tactically organised team, and, America aren't the best team in the tournament by a long stretch, he'll be found wanting again. And this is the frustrating thing, because we have got players more than capable of beating anybody in this tournament if we had somebody that could set them out to do it. And it's an analogy we've used during the game. The Villa of Gerrard and the Villa of Emery. You put a better manager in charge, it's more tactically aware, and it's a different ball game.
Well, these players are getting coached by your Guardiolas, your Klopps, your Contes. So, they've got to take some responsibility as well. But they must come into this setup and think, flipping hell, what's going on here? Because for me,
about something like that is, if you look at the traits of a Southgate team, you're not really allowed to be expressive, are you?
No.
And have freedom. So
that's why Foden can't get on the pitch, and
exactly,
Grealish couldn't get on the pitch in the Euros.
Maddison, those types of players that want to sort of have a little bit more license, he doesn't like, because he loves Mason Mount, because he knows Mason Mount will stay in the same position, will press, and he knows exactly what he'll get out of Mason Mount every single game. And I think that's the problem.
Yeah, 13 misplaced passes.
Yeah, and it's just so frustrating because, like, you know, like probably a lot of you that are watching, you've been watching the World Cup all week. You've been watching Brazil. You've watched France. You've watched, you know, Spain, and then you've been buzzing. You've watched England, and you're like, for God's sake,
Flat again, like, flat.
You know, imagine one of them nations watching that tonight. Now they're probably thinking, "Oh, what are these, man?"
I'll tell you what I feel. Pulisic.
To be fair, I'd say he was one of the best players on the pitch.
He was
great.
Yeah,
It's very
worrying. Game, he did.
It is very worrying because you know, in this tournament, Brazil looked good going forward, France looked good going forward, Spain looked decent, but I think without Southgate, I would feel confident that we could put a team out that would give any of those a game. I genuinely feel like that. I feel like we can beat anybody on our day, but we haven't got the person in charge that can give us that edge. And that's what your manager does. He gives you the edge, doesn't he? He gives you that, you know, tactical input at the precise moment you need it when things aren't going right. You know, how many times you've seen Mourinho at his pomp dragging someone off after half an hour? Not half time, not second half, not 80 minutes, half an hour. It's not working. Changing the system. You're coming off. You're going on.
And that's when you can only make 3 subs, Justin.
Yeah,
and
that's what
now.
we haven't got. We've got a manager. I'd be gobsmacked if anybody in the comments and watching this right now didn't think, I hope he changes it at half time because we need something to change here. And none of us would have been surprised when they all ran out and nothing changed.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're just hoping for a moment of magic, ain't we? We are. I know them words haunt us, but that you look back on all the Southgate performances and where we got to the Colombia, we won it on a penalty shootout, moment of magic. Yeah, you know, stuff like that. When you start to look back now, you think, yeah, it was like players stepping up and producing that magic. And when we did fall, i.e. the Croatia game, well, you know, we ran out of steam, but we couldn't handle their midfield. We couldn't handle their experience.
But in both of them games, Ryan, the Italian game and the Croatian game, we were 1-0 up in both of them games.
Yeah, and we couldn't find a way past them.
And he didn't. And the Modric thing will haunt us because all he needed to do was stop Modric in that game. Yeah. 1-0 up, stop Modric. He didn't do it because he didn't have a clue how to do it.
Yeah. And 1-0 up at home to Italy. Shut the game out, innit? Shut the game out. And we didn't even have a shot on goal after that, after we'd scored again. So, I find myself nervous for the rest of the tournament now.
Yeah,
when
I agree with Luke.
To shove, he hasn't got the answers, has he?
No, I agree with Luke. It's going to be... He's gone from... If you'd have won that game, you qualified and you're through. No worries against Wales. The pressure is now mounted onto that Welsh game. That team selection is massive for him now because if Mount starts for me, then I'm done with it. I really am done with it because if no manager in the world can watch that display and think that lad deserves to start, and I'm not digging Mason Mount out. I've got nothing against him at all, but I'm basing it on what I've watched and his performance in the first 2 games. I mean, we won 6-2 and he was poor, and tonight he was even worse. So for me, he cannot start that next game.
Yeah, right. We'll leave it there. Thank you everyone for watching. There's over 150 of you watching, so if you can hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, and we'll be back. I'll do an episode after the Argentina game to see how Martinez has got on as well. So join us for that one. We will be doing a watch-along for England v Wales as well, so stay tuned for that. Come and watch the game with us as well. So thanks for watching.
Come and feel the pain with us.
Yes, and subscribe if you're new and drop a like. See you later.
See ya.